Part 29. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Gugu Da. Chapter 281. Chapter 281 Fantasy manifests superpowers. The power of fantasy manifests crazily, it's so exciting. After solving the security problem of the Magic City base, Lin Fan was relieved and then said to the system, redeem me for another high-level power, and let the fantasy manifest. Ding. After deducting 100,000 points, congratulations to the master for obtaining the fantasy manifestation of high-level powers, and now the fusion begins. A stream of cool air poured into his body, and Lin Fan felt something more in his mind. Somehow, he seemed to have mastered some kind of creative power. Fantasy manifested superpowers. To a certain extent, ability and creativity, the superpowers overlap. One is to materialize fantasy, and the other is to create. The two types are almost the same, and Lin Fan can't figure out the specific difference. The level 1 fantasy materialization superpower fuses very quickly. Opening his eyes, Lin Fan felt it carefully. As for the current fantasy manifestation ability, due to the skill level, he could only manifest some dead objects, but this was enough. The power of fantasy in the body poured into the palm along the arm. Under the control of Lin Fan, according to the thoughts in his mind, a hand cannon full of technology appeared in his hand. The hand cannon was completely silver blue, with a silver base, and blue lines inlaid on the hand cannon, emitting a faint light. There seemed to be energy flowing inside. With this hand cannon in his hand, Lin Fan flashed outside the city. At this time, due to the existence of the city wall, a large number of zombies piled up under the city wall, scratching and hitting the city wall. It's a pity that the defense of the city wall cannot be broken by these zombies, and there is even less hope if they rush in. Lin Fan did not hide his aura, and as soon as the strong living aura appeared, it attracted the attention of many zombies. Roar. The zombies roared. Then, he turned around and rushed towards Lin Fan. Lin Fan held the silver hand cannon that had just appeared in his hand, pointed the muzzle at the zombies on the street and pulled the trigger. As the trigger was pulled, the muzzle of the hand cannon, a dazzling blue light lit up. After a short period of energy accumulation, a blue unstable light ball about the size of a fist flew out. The speed of the blue light ball was not very fast. At least if a normal person wanted to avoid it, the hand cannon would hit it. It was still a bit difficult. The light ball flew over 10 meters and exploded instantly. The dazzling blue electric light enveloped everything within a radius of 5 meters. The destructive ions instantly engulfed a large number of zombies, leaving no corpses behind. The explosion, there was no sound. The area covered by the ion cannon was directly evaporated into a large pit with a radius of 5 meters. Everything in this area was evaporated. Ding. Use the XT-1 plasma hand cannon to kill zombies, gain add 1 points, add 1 experience for fantasy manifestation abilities, current experience is 20/100. Ding. Use the XT-1 plasma hand cannon to kill zombies, gain add 1 points, gain add 1 experience in fantasy manifestation, and current experience is 70/100. 1 plasma cannon evaporated 70 zombies. Lin Fan looked down at the hand cannon with dimmed energy, and pulled the trigger again against the zombies rushing forward. Buzz buzz buzz. Lin Fan was like a child who got a new toy. He had a great time playing with the hand cannon in his hand. Amidst the buzzing sounds, the blue ion cannon flew through the air, exploded silently, and then destroyed everything around him. Everything, streets, cars, zombies, all were destroyed without leaving a trace. Ding. Use the XT-1 plasma hand cannon to kill zombies, points add 1, fantasy manifesting experience add 1, current experience 100/100. Ding. Your fantasy manifesting ability experience has reached full value. Your current level is LV2. 0/500 experience is required to advance to the next level. Ding. Use the XT-1 plasma hand cannon to kill zombies, add 1 points, add 1 fantasy manifesting experience, current experience is 210/500. Ding. The lethality of the plasma hand cannon is really unparalleled. The points and experience increased rapidly. He was soon promoted to level 2, and the experience was even increasing rapidly. Playing became more exciting. Lin Fan kept pulling the trigger, and after firing another ion cannon, Lin Fan wanted to shoot, but found that his hand was empty, and subconsciously looked over. Looking at the empty palm, Lin Fan felt a little confused. Confuse. Where is my gun? My lord, the XT-1 plasma hand cannon has exhausted its power of fantasy and disappeared. If you still want to use it, you need to reshape it with the power of fantasy. When the system prompted Lin Fan, he realized that the XT-1 plasma cannon does not exist. He used the power of fantasy to construct it. It exists because of the power of fantasy. The energy it maintains today is it was normal for him to hit everything in one breath and disappear. Since the XT-1 plasma hand cannon is gone, he can just replace it with another one. Looking at the zombies that kept coming on the street, Lin Fan raised his eyebrows and raised his hands. He made a gesture of holding a gun with his virtual grasp, and the power of fantasy condensed into a black and gold super tech cannon that exuded a faint electric light. The black and gold cannon was 1 meter long, with a ferocious body, and a black muzzle. The golden dragon head, the muzzle is the size of an adult's fist, the gun body has dragon-shaped patterns, and the pink electric light jumps. The whole giant gun is full of technology and cool feeling. Holding this gun in your hand is enough to the meter-long cannon. Lin Fan smiled ferociously, looked at the zombies rushing towards the street in front of him, and pulled the trigger hard with his finger. As the trigger was pulled, the dragon-shaped patterns on the entire cannon seemed to come alive, and lines appeared. The electric light surged, and the red electric light condensed at the muzzle. The ferocious dragon-headed eyes seemed to be glowing, and the process of condensing energy was like breathing. The muzzle flashed, and in less than a second, a crimson-colored light exploded. Spreading out, the red beam flew directly from the muzzle, covering an area 6 meters wide. The ground where the red beam passed cracked, as if it was shattered by some terrifying energy. The zombies in this area it was directly evaporated and destroyed. The red light beam was terrifying and contained endless aura of destruction. After the light dissipated, a huge trench 6 meters wide and nearly 1 meter deep appeared on the street, a distance of hundreds of meters. Everything within this range has disappeared, and there is still a faint white smoke on the ground. Ding. Use the GNT-1 Death Light Destruction Cannon to kill zombies, add 1 points, add 1 fantasy manifesting experience, current experience is 500/500. Ding. Your fantasy manifesting ability experience has reached full value. Your current level is LV3. 0/1000 experience is required to advance to the next level. Ding. Ding. Use the GNT-1 Death Light Destruction Cannon to kill zombies, add 1 points, add 1 fantasy manifesting experience, current experience is 1000/1000. Ding. Your fantasy manifesting ability experience has reached full value. Your current level is LV4. 0/5000 experience is required to advance to the next level. Ding. Use the GNT-1 Death Light Destruction Cannon to kill zombies, add 1 points, add 1 fantasy manifesting experience, and current experience is 3070/5000. With one shot, the fantasy manifesting power was upgraded by 2 levels. The range was 6 meters wide and more than 100 meters wide. Thousands of zombies evaporated directly. Feeling the surge of fantasy power in his body, Lin Fan laughed and held the GNT in his hand. The -1 type death ray destruction cannon ran 2 steps to the side and pulled the trigger again. Boom. Unlike the quietness of the plasma hand cannon, the GNT-1 type death ray destruction cannon was so earth-shattering every time it fired, and its destructive power was also extremely high. Astonishingly, one shot hit a vacuum zone that was 6 meters wide and hundreds of meters long. Countless zombies died. Lin Fan's figure moved back and forth on the street. With precise control of the distance, a full 30 meters wide area, Lin Fan fired 5 cannons on the main road. In just 10 seconds, the entire main road was completely destroyed by the GNT-1 death ray destruction cannon, and a weapon hundreds of meters long appeared in front of Lin Fan. A vacuum zone. Everything within 100 meters was destroyed. Not only the zombies, but even the streets were destroyed. However, Lin Fan didn't care about this. With a stomp, the damaged ground instantly recovered and was even stronger than before. Countless times. GNT, the Type 1 death ray destruction cannon, was extremely powerful, but it also consumed a lot of energy. 5 consecutive shots had exhausted the power of fantasy. Lin Fan didn't feel any pity when he saw the GNT-1 type death ray destruction cannon slowly disappearing in his hand. Because Lin Fan took out an even more terrifying cannon with his backhand. The muzzle of the cannon, which is 1 meter thick, is made of metal with dense threads. The cannon is very large and is directly reflected on the ground. There are a large number of stable structures around it. The cannon body is 10 meters long. The entire cannon is lying on the ground, full of thick and terrifying energy. Lin Fan stood behind the giant cannon, holding the huge launcher with both hands, and pulled down the joystick with his arms. As Lin Fan pulled the joystick, the 10-meter-long cannon body began to rotate violently, and electric light splashed and jumped, 1 meter away. 3 crossed lightning beams from the muzzle of the gun collided together. The electric light was intense, and the terrifying electromagnetic force stirred up. At the position of the muzzle, where the 3 lightning beams intersected, a small electric ball condensed, and was instantly blown away by the huge force. The blue electric light ball flew out instantly with the speed of light, covering a distance of 1,000 meters, and then following the trajectory of the electro-optical ball, the huge muzzle instantly spurted out boundless destructive electro-optical light. The electromagnetic gun evaporated everything within a kilometer with its destructive power. The light was extremely dazzling, covering everything in an instant. When the light gradually disappeared, Lin Fan turned his head and looked forward. The sight in front of him made Lin Fan couldn't help but click his tongue. The 30-meter-wide main road was completely destroyed. What appeared in front of Lin Fan was a neat arc-shaped trench, 30 meters wide and 1,000 meters long, up to 2 meters deep. The trench was steaming with white water left by the high temperature. Smoke, the ground was dissolved by the high temperature, almost like magma crystallized. Ding. Use the hint -1 matrix electromagnetic gun to kill zombies, gain add 1 points, add 1 experience for fantasy manifestation abilities, current experience is 5,000/5,000. Ding. Your fantasy manifesting ability experience has reached full value. Your current level is LV5. 0/10,000 experience is required to advance to the next level. Ding. Use the hint -1 matrix electromagnetic gun to kill zombies, gain add 1 points, add 1 experience for fantasy manifestation abilities, current experience is 10,000/10,000. Ding. Your fantasy manifesting ability experience has reached full value. Your current level is LV6. 0/10W experience is required to advance to the next level. Ding. Use the hint -1 matrix electromagnetic gun to kill zombies, gain add 1 points, add 1 experience in fantasy manifestation, and current experience is 3,400/10W. One shot of the electromagnetic gun vaporized more than 10,000 zombies, and the power was upgraded 2 levels in a row. This feeling is really good. Compared with the time power, the fantasy of manifesting the power is promoted too fast. In just a short time, in just a few minutes, he went directly from level 1 to level 6. It was so exciting. After restoring the ruined streets, Lin Fan shouldered the huge electromagnetic gun and rushed forward. There were dozens of tons of electromagnetic gun in the air. Lin Fan felt as relaxed as carrying a small wooden stick on his back. But it looked shocking. A man carrying a huge 10-meter-long cannon body was walking like flying. It felt too inconsistent. He arrived nearly 1,000 meters away in a flash, and saw, looking at the massive zombies in front of the street, Lin Fan raised his eyebrows and pulled down the joystick with force. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Doomsday. Chapter 282. Chapter 282, The Dilemma of the Tower of Nations. The crazy Du Yuhang and others were just when Lin Fan was racking up points. Tens of thousands of female warriors wearing white combat uniforms poured out from the four directions of the City of Judgment, led by Lin Yu and others. The female warriors began to advance along the major arterial roads, carrying out carpet-like cleaning. Major main roads, branch roads, and even some remote corners will not be spared. Not only the streets, but also major shops and residential buildings are included in the cleaning scope. Clean up as you go. Absolutely no zombies or survivors will be left behind. This is a thorough cleanup. After this time, the Demon City will not allow any zombies to be left alive. This is an order given by Lin Fan, and all teams must carry it out to the end. A force of 50,000 people is equipped with a 1,000 man Divine Punishment Troop, and a small team of 50 people. Each team has a divine envoy from the Wood Temple as the captain or medical staff to lead the team to clean up. The purpose of this is to maximize the reduce casualties. If the population of Judgment City hadn't increased dramatically in recent days, it would have been really difficult to gather 1,000 God's Punishment troops. In order to get these God's Punishment troops, Lin Fan spent an additional 800,000 points, 1,000 points for one person. 800 people means 800,000 points, plus the previous 200 people, it was exactly 1 million points. If it weren't for the fact that his points had skyrocketed in the past few days, Lin Fan would have felt sore. But now, it's just drizzle. For ordinary people, zombies may be scary, but for strong people like Lin Yu who have superpowers and destroy the world at every turn, they are no different from ants. Even in the eyes of other female warriors, they are nothing more than ants. The lamb to be slaughtered was not threatening at all. A total of 50,000 female warriors were dispatched, plus Lin Yu and others took action. The cleanup speed was very fast, and the radiation area continued to expand. In just half an hour, it had advanced 1 kilometer. At this speed, look, the rest of the area will be cleared by tomorrow at the latest. All that's left is to investigate the area where the intelligent zombies originally appeared. Intelligent zombies have taken away tens of millions of zombies, and there may be some omissions. The female warriors all left the city and started to clean up the zombies. Lin Fan didn't stop here either. It was so fun to imagine that his powers were manifested, and Lin Fan had a lot of fun. The electromagnetic gun has exhausted its fantasy power and disappeared, and Lin Fan has now replaced it with a new toy. The level 6 fantasy manifestation ability is enough for Lin Fan to manifest many things he can imagine, such as a giant steel wolf that can move, run, and kill zombies by itself. The giant wolf is huge and 10 meters high. The huge body, nearly 30 meters long, is like a giant steel beast. Lin Fan himself sat on the back of the giant steel wolf. The giant wolf ran past the main road. All the zombies in its path were trampled to death, or were melted by the high-temperature flames spewed from the mouth of the giant steel wolf. The destructive power was terrifying. Thick smoke billowed on the streets wherever they passed, and the streets on the ground were burned by the flames, with a faint tendency to become magma. Lin Fan went all the way east. Wherever he passed, all the zombies on the main roads were cleared away. Although the speed at which the giant wolf killed zombies was not as fast as that of an electromagnetic gun, which can kill 10,000 or 20,000 people in one shot, it was better because it was leisurely and hassle-free. No matter, just lie down on the back of the giant steel wolf and cross your legs leisurely to get experience and points. The most important thing is that it lasts. The power of the electromagnetic gun is great, but the pleasure is gone after 2 blasts, and you have to recreate one yourself. How troublesome is that? Still so comfortable. The giant steel wolf had a big back and ran very steadily without even bumps. Under the rays of the sun, Lin Fan felt lazy all over and fell asleep in a daze. Although Lin Fan, the master, was asleep, the giant steel wolf was still carrying out Lin Fan's orders, constantly cleaning up along the main road, not sparing a single zombie along the way. The cleanup plan went smoothly. The zombies were cleared from the front, and the captured survivors were escorted back to the City of Judgment in an orderly manner. The men were killed and the women were left behind. Only the women left had no threat at all. In addition, the strength of the escorting female warriors it's not bad, and there won't be any trouble at all. Just as the female warriors were advancing in an orderly manner, the Bund was 10 kilometers north of the City of Judgment. Before the end of the world, the Bund of the Magic City could be said to be the most prosperous area in the entire Magic City. The people coming and going, the gorgeous buildings and the excellent scenery made this the most important cultural center of the Magic City. At night, it was decorated with colorful neon lights. Like a city that never sleeps. Now this place has been in ruins, without the scenery before the apocalypse. What is left is only devastation and countless zombies and corpses. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. Gunshots echoed along the banks of the Huangpu River. Thousands of police officers hid in fortifications at the entrance of the Tower of Nations, firing non-stop at the zombies pouring in front of them like a tide. The formation of these police officers was very complex, with ordinary people. There are also some police officers and some anti-riot troops, and the weapons in their hands are also diverse, including rifles, submachine guns, shotguns, and pistols. Not only the fortifications under the Building of Nations, but also on various floors of the Building of Nations, there were also a large number of police shooting at the zombies below through the windows. On the 21st floor of the Wangguo building, Dong Yun, the mayor of Magic City, sat on a chair with a sullen face. Not only Dong Yun, there were also more than 10 figures sitting in the room. Here are the deputy director and secretary of Magic City, as well as Chu Tianxiang, the chief of the Magic City Police Bureau in police uniform. Since the apocalypse broke out, Dong Yun, as the commander, directed Chu Tianxiang to gather the police forces, and then rescued many survivors in an area of 7 or 8 kilometers, and even built a simple safe zone that was not very large. Due to their early reaction and nearly 2 months, Dong Yun and others saved many survivors, as many as 160,000. With the Building of Nations as the center, there is a safety zone with a radius of 3 kilometers around. Some streets were blocked by Dong Yun's people with used vehicles and other things to prevent zombies from coming. In this safe zone, 160,000 people live a relatively peaceful life. Even if the food is not very good, there is no danger. Dong Yun has been waiting for the rescue of the Imperial Army. Not only Dong Yun, but also Chu Tianxiang and the others are also waiting. As high-level officials, they know how powerful the country is. Although the zombies are terrifying, they will still be eliminated sooner or later. When the time comes, they will be free to save them. As long as the Imperial Army arrives, they have saved so many people, absolutely it is a huge achievement. If you want to be promoted, it will definitely be a smooth climb. For this reason, Chu Tianxiang led his troops to search and rescue survivors almost every day, in order to make their political achievements better. Of course, Chu Tianxiang also wanted to save his daughter and wife, even though it had been nearly 2 months. Yes, but if you want to see people alive, you want to see their corpses if they die. It doesn't matter whether his wife is saved or not, but his daughter always has to be saved. He is just a daughter. No matter what, he has to know the result. Unfortunately, there are too many zombies and he has no time to go to Fenglin campus where Chu Hanyan is located. Encountered the immediate dilemma. Yesterday evening, Chu Tianxiang's team encountered a group of survivors who were killing zombies. Seeing the 20 people on the other side killing zombies so bravely, the captain of the team wanted to rescue them. Wouldn't the Tower of Nations be destroyed again by then? Are there more combatants? But an accident happened. At the command of those 20 people, zombies came from all directions and rushed towards the small group of policemen. Although they didn't know what was going on, the least they could do was run when faced with the zombies. New. It's just that there were too many zombies, and after paying a heavy price, only 4 of the dozens of police officers escaped. One of them turned into a zombie when he just escaped and was shot dead. Before Chu Tianxiang could ask what was going on, a large number of zombies surrounded the safe zone. After hearing the report, Chu Tianxiang, Dong Yun, and others ran to the roof of the world building and saw the surrounding scene through the telescope. Then they were stunned. Among the tens of thousands of zombies, 20 figures holding cold weapons stood so quietly, looking out of place with the zombies around them. And under the command of these people, the zombies actually learned to move things. All the vehicles they used to block the road were pushed away, and tens of thousands of zombies drove straight in and rushed directly into the safe area. This situation reminded Dong Yun and others of the intelligent zombies some time ago. How similar are the behaviors of these people to intelligent zombies? In line with the idea of capturing the thief first, Chu Tianxiang arranged for more than 10 snipers to kill the intelligent zombies. Unfortunately, there were mistakes in the plan. Only 11 of the more than 10 snipers completed the task, and the remaining few they all missed, and when they tried to carry out a second round of sniping, the opponent was already hiding, which greatly disappointed Chu Tianxiang and others. However, Chu Tianxiang and the others were very satisfied with being able to snipe and kill 11 intelligent zombies. However, it was a pity that the safe zone fell. Tens of thousands of zombies marched straight in. All the survivors in the buildings were infected by the zombies. Facing tens of thousands of zombies, they were very satisfied. During the siege, Chu Tianxiang could only order his troops to defend around the Tower of Nations. Then they were trapped. This is the dilemma Dong Yun, Chu Tianxiang, and others are encountering now. In the current predicament, no one present has any good solution. The entire building of nations is surrounded by tens of thousands of zombies. They can't get out even if they want to. Unless the military region sends fighter jets, they will all die here. But is a military zone possible? They had felt the shaking of the earth before. Not only that, they also saw a giant mushroom cloud rising dozens of kilometers away. Contacting these smart zombies in front of them, Dong Yun and the others probably understood in their hearts that the Magic City military district was probably gone. The huge mushroom cloud was probably a nuclear bomb. At that distance, the Magic City military district had no way of being spared. In other words, their last escape route is gone. Either destroy the intelligent zombies and the zombies in front of you, or die. Apart from these two options, there is no third way to go. Just when things were gloomy here at the Wangguo Tower, in a villa 2 kilometers away, Du Yuhang and others who gave Dong Yun a headache were gathering here. In fact, Dong Yun and the others were wrong. Zombies did kill many people, but only men. All the women in the safe zone were left behind. Ah! Cool. Ha 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 ha. Call it. The more miserable you scream, the happier I am. Du Yuhang's eyes were as red as blood, and he kept roaring and torturing several women who were captured. The men around him did no worse than Du Yuhang. They have gone crazy. They claimed to be the new human beings of the new era. They were almost killed by sniper rifles. The death of their companions was so real. After gaining super strength, they felt the crisis of death for the first time. This fear made them more and more crazy and tortured them more cruelly. These women, their hearts are filled with darkness, have completely degenerated into beasts. Seeing the aura of the woman under him gradually weakening, and his eyes starting to turn white, a look of ferocity flashed across Du Yuhang's face. He grabbed the woman's neck with both hands, and forcefully twist. Click. The woman's neck was crushed and she died completely. He threw the woman away casually. Du Yuhang turned his head and looked into the corner, where there were more than 10 women tied there. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Doomsday. Chapter 283. Chapter 283, The Fall of the Tower of Nations, Attack of Jasmine. Can thousands of policemen with weapons such as pistols, submachine guns, and rifles stop tens of thousands of zombies? It is possible if there is sufficient ammunition. The zombies attacking here at the Tower of Nations are different from the warlord Lu family in the Demon City. Du Yuhang and the others did not have any command at all. They just relied on numbers to charge forward and face the dense crowds. Zombies, if nothing else, as long as you raise your gun, aim at the zombie's head and shoot, you will definitely kill the zombie. This killing means headshot. There were too many zombies. They were all piled up and charging. It was difficult to empty a gun. The corpses of countless zombies were already lying on the ground, but these zombies were still charging without fear of death. Zombies don't know fear, they only know how to follow orders to attack, or follow their instincts to chase people and bite them. Thousands of policemen armed with firearms kept firing, and various gunshots kept echoing over the Tower of Nations. Under the fire of thousands of policemen, the zombies' forward momentum was controlled, but this was only temporary. The Building of Nations is not a police station or an armory. There is no unlimited ammunition. Chu Tianxiang and the others are trapped to death. It is impossible to get out. In other words, as long as they run out of ammunition and food, they will only die. Bullets are limited, but zombies are unlimited. Tens of thousands of zombies are still the same tens of thousands of zombies. The reason is very simple. How many zombies are there in this area? There are tens of thousands of zombies just because this road can only stand tens of thousands of zombies. At the corners of various streets, there are still countless zombies that have not yet rushed out. The zombies kept attacking, the police in front of the Building of Nations kept firing, and the police at each window did not stop. Time continued to pass, and the sun in the sky gradually set toward the west. Unknowingly, more than half a day passed. It has passed, and zombie corpses are everywhere on the streets. The zombies are still charging while stepping on the corpses of their companions. At the entrance of the Building of Nations, the high-intensity shooting for most of the day made the arms of these policemen extremely sore. Each of them was filled with despair. It was as if there were endless zombies to kill. These policemen all remembered how many zombies they had shot and killed. But at a glance, there is still no end in sight to the zombies. Bang bang bang. Click. Kaka. At one point, the gun in a policeman's hand suddenly got stuck, and the sound of empty shells kept ringing. The policeman subconsciously touched behind him, but found nothing. The policeman was stunned. He turned to look at the empty box behind him and looked blankly at the bomb loader, who looked a little frightened. "Where's the magazine? Give me the magazine. What are you waiting for if you don't load it?" The loader tilted the empty bullet box and a large box over, with unspeakable fear on his face. "Out of bullets," the policeman said subconsciously. "Then you should go and get it. This is the last box," The loader was crying and his voice was trembling. The policeman who spoke was confused. He understood what the loader meant. The spare ammunition was finished. There were no bullets left to resist the zombies. He turned around and looked at the massive influx of people in front of him. Zombies, the policeman felt unspeakable fear in his heart. Click, click, click. There was a sound of air not far away, followed by screams, as more and more police stopped shooting. The zombies were advancing faster and faster, and they were getting closer and closer to the Tower of Nations. Looking at the ferocious faces of the zombies, the policeman nervously touched his pockets, and then a trembling smile appeared on his face. The policeman shakily took out a bullet from his pocket. The policeman stuffed the bullet into the magazine and then raised it silently. The zombies in front had already rushed 10 meters in front of the front line. The policeman beside him, they all ran away in panic, but he didn't run away. Looking at the hideous faces of the zombies, he pulled the trigger with determination. Bang! The bullet passed through the chin and penetrated the Tianling cap. Blood sprayed out, and the lifeless corpse moved to the side. He fell down, followed by countless zombies swarming over and trampling over his body. The building of nations was lost. Tens of thousands of zombies trampled on the bodies of thousands of police officers and rushed into the building. Soon, the building of nations was filled with. There was a piercing scream. On the 21st floor of the Wangguo building, the door was knocked open. The melancholy Dong Yun and others were still at a loss. During this afternoon, they did not think of any useful method at all. Now the door suddenly being knocked away, Dong Yun and others, who were already in a bad mood, were like a powder keg that was ignited and exploded instantly. Who asked you to come in? I wonder if there is a meeting. Clapping the table and getting up, Dong Yun was scolded all over his face. Chu Tianxiang and others also looked very bad, but they didn't speak. After all, Dong Yun, the commander, had already spoken, so would it be their turn? Chief. Oh no, the zombies are coming. The man who rushed in looked horrified and ignored Dong Yun's yelling and scolding. Normally, he would have been frightened, but now, he can't control that much anymore. What? Chu Tianxiang stood up suddenly. His middle-aged and stout body looked a little fat, and with a calm but powerful look on his face, he shouted, "What did you say? Zombies are coming? How can it be? Aren't there so many brothers downstairs? How could the zombies attack? Director Chu, we are out of bullets." The bullets are out? Now the anti-riot troops are holding anti-riot shields to resist the zombies downstairs, but they can't stop them at all. Sir, please think of a solution quickly. Dong Yun's face turned pale with fright, as pale as paper. Now there is no anger in his heart, and only one sentence echoes in his mind. The zombies are coming. His body fell back on the seat weakly. Dong Yun's eyes were empty. Zanli kept mumbling, "What should I do? What to do? Zombies are coming, I'm dying, am I going to die? I don't want to die yet, I don't want to die yet." Not only Dong Yun, but most of the people in the room were in this state. Seeing this situation, Chu Tianxiang fell back on his seat weakly. He was also desperate. No support, no rescue, nothing. How can we fight against the countless zombies outside? With bare hands? If you hit a zombie with a punch, it will stagger at most, and then it will rush forward, but as long as it is scratched, it is basically over. This is a completely unequal and hopeless struggle, and everyone is desperate. When the secretary who rushed in saw this situation, he fell to the ground in a daze. The bosses had nothing to do. What else could he do? In the villa 2 kilometers away, there was a knock on the door, and then it was pushed open. A girl appeared at the door. She looked at Du Yuhang and others who were in the room, looking like beasts, with a flash of disgust in their eyes and a cold voice. He said, "The Tower of Nations has been breached." If you still want to do it yourself, hurry up. It's disgusting hearing the words coming from the door of the room. Do you hang? And others raised their heads, their eyes flashing with violence. Was the Tower of Nations captured? Ha 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 ha. Is this human? As weak as a pig. Tormenting the woman under him as hard as he could. Seeing the woman dying, Du Yuhang bit him, crushing the woman's neck to pieces, and then raised his head with blood all over him. Stop playing around, go ahead and kill those who dare to attack us. You have plenty of time to play. Throwing aside the dead man beneath him, Du Yuhang got dressed and walked out of the villa with the few remaining men. The girl at the door was waiting impatiently with a cold face. When he saw Du Yuhang and others coming out, his eyes flashed. With a look of disgust on his face, he raised his legs and walked forward. Looking at the woman walking away, Du Yuhang spat and cursed, "Smelly cousin, if you have the ability, go ahead and play, sooner or later I will kill you." After saying that, Du Yuhang rushed out in an instant, and his speed was not slow. 1 kilometer south of the Building of Nations, Jasmine was leading a team to clean up the zombies. She vaguely heard the intensive gunshots coming from the front, and her hands stopped. Looking towards the direction from which the sound came. "Captain, what's wrong?" When one of the team members saw this situation, she asked consciously. She was in the chi condensation realm and she didn't even hear the gunshots coming from a kilometer away. Looking in the direction of the Building of Nations, Jasmine identified it and asked, I remember wrong, that's the Bund over there, right?" The female team member glanced at where Jasmine was pointing and nodded, "Yes, it's the Bund." Why did the captain suddenly ask about this? "Speed up, there's gunfire ahead." "And a lot," Jasmine spoke in a deep voice, and the female team member understood instantly. The sound of gunfire means there are survivors. The gunfire is very dense, which proves that there are many people on the other side. If you are lucky, this may be a great achievement. Wang Ziwen raided the subway a few days ago. News of the station spread in the City of Judgment, and nearly 6,000 women were saved at once. He was promoted to squadron leader on the spot, and was also rewarded with a source of power crystal. Now his strength is catching up with the first generation Li Fengjiao and others. Although there are still some gaps, but they are still at the same level. Not only Wang Ziwen, but all the female warriors in the team received rewards. Ning Yuzhen was promoted to squad leader, the same level as their captain Jasmine. Now all the female warriors in Judgment City are working hard to climb up, and no one wants to be just a level 2. After Jasmine gave the order, the 50 female warriors in the team, including an envoy of the Divine Punishment Force, also holding his hand again, the movement of his hand accelerated, and sword energy shot out of the air. Dozens of people quickly ran towards the Tower of Nations. Urgent. This is really urgent. There are more than 10,000 female warriors here in the north. A team of 50 people, that's more than 200 teams. If you don't run faster, the credit may have been taken away by others by the time you get there. It was only 100 or 200 meters after rushing out, and all the female soldiers in the team heard it. The gunfire coming from the Building of Nations, before their faces showed joy, the gunfire suddenly began to decrease, and then disappeared in less than a minute. This situation made the members of the team even more nervous, anxious and wishing to rush to the Tower of Nations now. Jasmine jumped to a high place and looked at the Tower of Nations with concentration. Looking at the zombies pouring into the Tower of Nations in a steady stream, Jasmine knew that this was not caused by other members of her team. It was unclear, but the World Tower was attacked by zombies. Seeing this scene, Jasmine felt indescribably anxious. The credit she had gained could not be lost like this. Back on the ground, Jasmine kept waving with the sword energy. The zombies blocking the road fell down like wheat. Jasmine wanted to speed up, but there were too many zombies. It was a dream to cross hundreds of meters in a short time. Hurry up, the Tower of Nations has been invaded by zombies. If we get there too late, we may be overrun by zombies. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Doomsday. Chapter 284. Chapter 284, The villain died for talking too much, give me a reason not to kill you. Jasmine was still leading her team members forward quickly, and at this time, the interior of the Building of Nations had completely fallen. The policemen holding anti-riot shields had long since turned into zombies. A large number of zombies rushed directly upstairs, and all the living people along the way were bitten to death by the zombies. However, this phenomenon ended with the arrival of Du Yuhang and others. How could Du Yuhang let these people in the Building of Nations go so easily? The feeling of walking around the gate of hell is really terrifying. As a noble new human being, how could Du Yuhang be willing to be almost killed by the old human beings? After gaining the power of a new human being, Du Yuhang developed a self-centered mentality. His unscrupulous killing and wanton behavior made him even more extreme. Along the way, he would kill zombies whenever he saw them, he would kill men when he saw them, and he would play with women alive. Death, anyway, in Du Yuhang's heart, everything must be killed. Once the long-term repression is released, it is like a Pandora's box being opened. Now Du Yuhang is an extreme, murderous demon. He wants to torture everyone in the Building of Nations and make them feel despair. He wanted to watch them be eaten alive by thousands of corpses. Du Yuhang held a spear in his hand and walked all the way to the 21st floor. All the men along the way were brutally killed by him, while the women stayed behind. These women auguries had once told him to keep them as tools to vent their anger. In fact, auguries is also a hard worker. He is just the lowest watchdog in the pyramid sequence. He is not worthy of having anything to do with other new human women. Those new human women are all prepared for the higher UPS of the pyramid. There is no way, augur. Reese could only target human women. Du Yuhang and the others did not dare to disobey Auguri's order. The most they could do was to torture some to death. There were so many women anyway, so torturing some to death was nothing. On the 21st floor, Du Yuhang kicked open the closed door. He was afraid of his life and did not go in immediately. Dozens of zombies went in instead of him. Bang bang bang. The sound of gunshots was heard, and Du Yuhang was relieved. He knew that the people in the room had guns. Although he was not afraid of zombies, he was afraid of pistols. One shot in the head would kill him. Killing zombies in the past few days has indeed improved his strength a lot, but it is not yet to the point where he can dodge bullets. The screams came, and when Du Yuhang heard this, he knew that he could almost go in. The gunfire had stopped, and someone had been bitten by the zombies. If anyone could remain calm and save bullets in this situation, Du Yuhang could only say that the other party was awesome. Step by step, he walked into the office on the 21st floor. Looking at the struggling figure who was knocked down by zombies on the ground, Du Yuhang smiled ferociously and looked at everyone in the room. "Good evening, everyone. You seem to be looking very bad. Is there anything that is bothering you?" Du Yuhang's words shocked Chu Tianxiang and others. They did not expect that the intelligent zombies could even speak human language. This learning ability is too terrifying. In fact, they had no idea that Du Yuhang and others were originally human beings. Was just transformed into a new human being by auguries, and thought it was an intelligent zombie that had learned human language in a short period of time. Seeing Chu Tianxiang and the others not speaking, but just looking at him in horror, Du Yuhang felt in his heart very satisfied. With this kind of frightened and desperate look, he must let these people taste the pain of despair before he kills them. "You seem to be scared? Is it because of these disobedient children at my feet? Sorry, they are hungry and their eating looks a bit ugly. Please be more patient. I just don't know if this person can eat enough for them. If not, I will have to trouble you. Look at how pitiful these children are. Can you imitate Buddha and cut meat to feed eagles, and contribute yourselves so that these children of mine can have a full meal? Du Yuhang had an evil smile on his face, and what he said sent chills down the spines of Dongyun and others. Donate yourself to feed the zombies. You can say it. What's wrong? Aren't you going to come out? Or are you going to let me pick it out myself? If I had to choose, it would not be as simple as 1 or 2 people. Hearing Du Yuhang's words, Dongyun and others were even more frightened. Chu Tianxiang remained calm and took a step forward to stand up. He also threw the empty pistol in his hand to the ground. He looked at those who came out. Chu Tianxiang and Du Yuhang were stunned, and a surge of anger rushed from the bottom of their hearts to their minds. This is different from what he planned. Shouldn't humans be selfish at this time? Why the hell are you rushing out? Looking at it with cold eyes when Chu Tianxiang walked out, Du Yuhang was extremely angry. He hated others ruining his plans. Chu Tianxiang stood up. How could he see a group of people killing each other? How could he see the despair of those people? At this time he really couldn't understand that there was such a fool standing up to die for others. Chu Tianxiang no longer had the pistol in his hand, and Du Yuhang didn't have the slightest fear anymore. In extreme anger, Du Yuhang walked towards Chu Tianxiang with full of anger. Tianxiang, he wanted to cut off this man's limbs bit by bit, and then let the zombies bite him to death. Only then could he relieve the hatred in his heart. Looking at Du Yuhang walking over, Chu Tianxiang couldn't say anything in his heart. He was so nervous that his hands were shaking, and there was heavy cold sweat on his forehead. Seeing Du Yuhang getting closer and closer, the spear in his hand was about to stab him. Chu Tianxiang knew that he couldn't wait any longer. He didn't know whether Du Yuhang would suddenly give him a shot. He can only take a gamble now. Move. Chu Tianxiang moved, grabbing the back of his waist with his right hand. A brand new pistol appeared in his hand, and the muzzle of the gun was instantly pointed at Du Yuhang's face. Then he pulled the trigger without hesitation. Zombies will only die if they are hit on the head. Chu Tianxiang knew this very well. This time he quickly drew the gun. Chu Tianxiang felt that this was already his peak. Even if it was when he was young, he was not so fast. He was desperate. Bang! The harsh sound of gunshots echoed in the room, and a corpse fell down with a look of horror and disbelief in his eyes, but it was not Du Yuhang. Du Yuhang dodged. The improvement effect of killing zombies these days is still there. When he saw Chu Tianxiang quickly draw his gun, Du Yuhang knew something was wrong, and quickly turned his head to the side. His movements were already very faster, but still a little slower. The bullet flew past his cheekbone, and there was a terrifying gash on his face. Blood spurted out. Not only that, his ear was also knocked off by the bullet, and half of Du Yuhang's face was covered in it. The blood spurted out, indescribably miserable. He dodged the bullet, but a student behind him didn't expect this. His head was blown out and he became a scapegoat. Du Yuhang was not killed by one shot. Chu Tianxiang's pupils suddenly shrank, and he was about to turn the gun and hit Du Yuhang again, but Du Yuhang had already reacted. How could he give Chu Tianxiang a chance to shoot? After all, Chu Tianxiang was middle-aged, and he was so fast just now. Shooting the gun had drained him of his physical strength and spirit, which could not compare with Du Yuhang's strengthened body. With a flick of the gun in his hand, the tip of the gun instantly cut off Chu Tianxiang's arm. The arm was cut off, and Chu Tianxiang screamed. With a sound, the gun also fell to the ground. Kill you! Kill you! Kill you! I am going to kill you. Du Yuhang became furious, with blood all over his face. He stabbed Chu Tianxiang crazily with the spear in his hand. He stabbed Chu Tianxiang more than a dozen times in an instant, and a large amount of blood spurted out. Looking at Chu Tianxiang's fallen body, Du Yuhang still not letting go, he kept stabbing the spear in his hand and roared, "Kill me! Kill me! Kill them all! Bite him alive! Leave no one behind. Ah, I'm furious. It hurts me so much. Du Yuhang's roar like a wild dog echoed in the room, and a large number of zombies pounced directly on him. In an instant, Dongyun and others were knocked down by dozens of zombies, and they were eaten alive by the zombies amidst desperate screams. At the door of the room, Li Jing leaned against the wall, with a sneer on her face, looking at Du Yuhang's miserable appearance, feeling unspeakably relieved in her heart. These days, Li Jing has long disliked these men. They do disgusting things every day, which really makes her she wanted to vomit, and she was also arrogant. Wouldn't it be okay if she was killed early? It would be a pity not to be beaten to death if she had to play. But she would not say these words. She also knew that Du Yuhang and the others did not like her. She is alone and weak, and she doesn't want to provoke crazy dogs like Du Yuhang. If she is bitten by a dog, it is not worth it. She is too lazy to look at the situation in the room. At this time, it is better to kill zombies to improve her strength than watching Du Yuhang. It is much better for these people to go crazy. Strength is the foundation of everything. If she were not stronger than Du Yuhang and the others, she would have been poisoned by now. Li Jing felt that it would be better to stay away from Du Yuhang and the others in the future. She just turned around and came to the door outside. A knife was placed across her neck, and the biting coldness made Li Jing freeze on the spot. When Li Jing even held her breath, and her heart was filled with confusion. There were thousands of zombies in the building of nations. Ah, how did this person come up? And how did he touch next to her? Why is there no movement at all? Is the strength she has improved in the past few days all fake? It shouldn't be. Even if Du Yuhang and the others want to get close to her, they will not be able to get close to her. No matter how careful she was, she could feel it. What was going on now? Looking to the side with her head stiffened, what she saw was zombie corpses lying on the ground, and then a beautiful woman wearing a white military cap and a black and white uniform. There is also a golden 2-star badge on the woman's collar. She hurried all the way here. As she went upstairs, looking at the corpses on the ground, Jasmine felt extremely uncomfortable. She was done, everyone. They are all dead. Such a damn achievement flew out of the bowl. And the culprit that caused all this is the woman in front of you. As well as those people in the room, you don't need to look at Jasmine to know that there is no one left alive in the entire 10,000 Kingdoms building. And the identity of the woman in front of me is worth thinking about. The zombies are so stunned that they will not attack. Could this woman be a smart zombie? This is the only possibility. The zombies will not attack. Otherwise, as long as they are human, they will still be alive. Yes, zombies will definitely chase them to the ends of the earth, and then eat and infect them to become zombies. The tang knife was placed across Li Jing's neck. Looking at this rather beautiful woman, Jasmine said coldly, "Who are you? Intelligent zombies? Give me a reason not to kill you." Li Jing swallowed hard and said in a dry voice, "I am not a smart zombie, I'm a new human being. I know where the women are being held. If you kill me, those women will all die. I believe I can still give one last order before killing me. I communicate with the zombies through my thoughts. No matter how fast you move, your thoughts will not be transmitted as fast. I can control zombies within 3 kilometers. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers." Author, Doomsday. Chapter 285. Chapter 285 Gatekeeper Auguries is here. Then he was shot dead and there were still living women who were locked up? Hearing this, Jasmine's eyes lit up instantly. It didn't matter whether the man died or not, as long as she was a living woman. Come on, how many women are you imprisoning? Feeling the increasingly terrifying chill on Tang Dao, Li Jing was about to cry. Did you hear me? Aren't you afraid that I would kill those women? I #@ Yuan. Regardless of what Li Jing thought, but faced with the Tang Dao on her neck and the biting cold, Li Jing still gave in decisively. The number is probably between 50,000 and 60,000, right? I didn't count carefully, but it was probably just that many. Jasmine's eyes widened instantly, her eyes opened into an O shape, and everyone was dumbfounded. WTF? How much did you say? 5 or 6,000? Are you serious? Jasmine's people were dumbfounded. Wang Ziwen got back 5 or 6,000 and directly promoted him to squadron leader. Then if she gets 10 times more, 50 or 60,000, can she at least become a commander? At the worst, can she become a commander, he also has to be the captain, right? That's LV5. It is considered an absolute high-level person in the City of Judgment. After getting excited, Jasmine suddenly felt something was wrong. Could the woman in front of her be lying to her? Why would a bunch of zombies leave so many women behind? The Tang Dao in her hand was passed forward again, and Jasmine said suspiciously, "Are you lying to me? Do you believe that I will kill you?" Li Jing had a black question mark on her face. "You are so poisonous." I really didn't lie. Is there any point in me lying? When there aren't so many women, won't you still want to kill me? Jasmine thought the same thing. At this time, more than 10 figures rushed up from the corner. They were also wearing white uniforms and white military caps on their heads. They looked extremely beautiful. "Captain, what are you doing?" Seeing the strange state of Jasmine and Li Jing, the team members who ran up had question marks on their faces. She said that she was a new human being who could command zombies, and then said that she had 50,000 to 60,000 women imprisoned there. Jasmine's tone was calm, but the words she spoke almost made several female warriors faint. How many? 50 or 60,000 women. The heads of these dozen female warriors were buzzing. Don't be dazed, go in and kill the zombies inside, and kill all the new humans as well. Keep an eye on this woman. More than a dozen female soldiers came to their senses and rushed into the room one after another. 2 female soldiers came up to disarm and then detained Li Jing. "If you don't want to die, you'd better be honest." Listening to the shouts of the 2 female warriors, Li Jing wanted to struggle, but you guys, why are you so strong? Li Jing didn't understand. She had been killing zombies for a few days to improve her strength. Her strength was much stronger than before the apocalypse. At least one punch could weigh 200 kilograms, right? Why can't you even move? These 2 women are actually boxing champions wearing women's skin, right? After being escorted into the room, Li Jing gave up her struggle. She found that she seemed to have kicked an iron plate. This was outrageous. How many humans could she, a new human, defeat? Is this scientific? Is it reasonable? As soon as she entered the room, Li Jing was shocked. In less than 2 seconds, all the zombies in the room were dead. Several new humans on Du Yuhang's side had been chopped into human sticks alive, leaving Du Yuhang alone. Still struggling. Li Jing was stunned. What happened? 2 seconds. 2 seconds. A new human like her was cut into a human stick in 2 seconds? It was not Jasmine who took action, but the team members who came later. Li Jing suspected that she was dead. Are all humans so fierce now? Can she choose not to be a new human being? She feels that humans are more fragrant. Who are you? If you dare to attack me, do you want to try what it's like to be besieged by hundreds of thousands of zombies? I have summoned the zombies. If you don't want to die, please stop. Otherwise, you will never leave the Tower of Nations alive. Du Yuhang roared crazily, with indescribable aggrievedness on his face. His figure kept dodging, and the spear in his hand hurriedly blocked the Tang Dao slashed by the female warrior. Several classmates died within 2 seconds. This was too much. It was terrifying. Du Yuhang didn't want to die. He had secretly summoned auguries. As long as he called auguries for a while, after auguries came, these hateful women would die. Being escorted by two female warriors, Li Jing already felt when Du Yuhang sent the signal, she was also looking forward to it. After auguries arrived, she would be able to regain her freedom. In her eyes, auguries was very powerful. Although these female warriors were powerful, they were definitely no match. No one likes to be a prisoner, and it is the kind of prisoner whose life is not guaranteed. Li Jing is not crazy, so naturally she does not have this strange hobby. Really, don't waste your time with him. Looking coldly at Du Yuhang, who was running around like a mouse on the street, Jasmine was already a little impatient. Hearing Jasmine's order, Han Yunzhen was also a little annoyed. This disgusting thing in front of him can really run away, so cheer up. Han Yunzhen's speed increased sharply, and the tang knife in his hand slashed across the roaring Du Yuhang's body. Ah! It hurts. You are dead. You are dead. A big leg was broken at the root. Du Yuhang flew out and rolled on the ground several times, cursing at the top of his lungs with unspeakable resentment in his tone. Han Yunzhen's eyes were cold, and with a turn of his wrist, the sword energy cut through the air. The amputated tongue flew into the sky with a large amount of blood. Du Yuhang was in unspeakable pain when his tongue was cut off. The blood was all over his face, and the painful roar kept echoing in the room, but he couldn't say a word at all. Han Yunzhen couldn't help but feel the pain in his hands. Stop! With a few knives, Du Yuhang was directly cut into a human stick. Only his head was still on the torso, and a large amount of blood spattered out. With this level of blood loss, Du Yuhang would die from blood loss in less than a minute. Too many to die. After doing all this, Han Yunzhen glanced at Du Yuhang, who was already dying of pain, snorted coldly, and turned to Jasmine. Boom! The roof suddenly exploded at this moment, and large pieces of gravel flew. Jasmine frowned slightly. Wrinkle, pulling Han Yunzhen back quickly. Boom! Large pieces of gravel fell from the roof, hitting the ground with a violent roar. Amidst the smoke and dust in the sky, a tall figure jumped down from the roof. The smoke gradually dispersed. Augury's figure appeared. His gloomy eyes swept around, looking at the tragic death of Du Yuhang and others. Auguries felt unspeakable anger in his heart. What a goo he raised! That's what it is. Are all dead? Auguries was furious, looking at Li Jing, who was being held behind the crowd, and asked, where are the others? Why are you the only ones here? Li Jing's face was bitter. What the hell should she say? More than half of them were shot to death by a group of old humans. Everyone is here, and the rest were killed yesterday by people here using sniper rifles from a distance. Auguries only felt hot blood rushing to his brain, and a mouthful of reverse blood almost rushed up and choked him to death. 20 people. Are they all dead like this? Only one of them is still a prisoner? He looked at Jasmine and the others with cold eyes. Man, Auguries was furious in his heart, punched the ground with the mighty trident in his hand, and roared, today. You are all going to die. A terrifying roar arose along with the momentum. Terrifying power erupted from Augury's feet, and his figure instantly rushed towards Jasmine. The Tang Dao in her hand danced like a sword. There was no fear in Jasmine's eyes, and she faced him straight. Climbing up, the Tang Dao and the divine trident collided together, causing sparks to fly. The more Auguries fought, the more frightened he became. He found out why the woman opposite him was so fierce. She was so fast and powerful. He was a little unable to resist. This time, his arms were numb and he couldn't lift them. He gritted his teeth and activated the inscription on the divine trident. The electric light flashed, neutralizing part of the power and at the same time increasing the power of his attack. This made Auguries feel a lot better. Ding! Tang's sword slashed at the mighty trident. Jasmine looked at her with disdain, raised her foot and kicked Auguries. Auguries couldn't handle the powerful kick. To dodge, he used all his strength on his arms to support the Tangdeo that was slashing above his head. He had no energy left to dodge this kick. Bang! A powerful and heavy kick kicked Auguries several meters away. After rolling on the ground for more than 10 times, he managed to half-kneel on the ground. Poof! His face was green and red. Auguries spurted out a mouthful of blood, mixed with pieces of internal organs. The kick he just kicked had all his internal organs. It cracked, causing serious trauma to his internal organs. Wiping away the blood from his corners, Auguries stood up and stared at Jasmine. "You are very strong, but you will eventually die in my hands here. My mission is to kill you awakened ones and clear the obstacles on our master, awakened ones. Die." Divine Trident, Liberation. Holding the divine mighty trident tightly in his hand, the inscription flashed with dazzling light. Under the lightning, the divine mighty trident exuded terrifying power. It is a dust-covered sword that shows its due edge. Seeing the terrifying energy fluctuations emanating from the mighty trident in Auguries' hand, Jasmine frowned. It wasn't that she was scared, but she just didn't quite understand what this fool was talking about. "Do you think I can't kill you if I take a blazing weapon? Although my weapon will not emit light, it will emit sword energy." The gang chi inside her body surged, and the terrifying aura came out of her body. Jasmine's figure instantly disappeared from the spot, and the Tangdeo with the 3-foot-long sword slashed towards Auguries crazily. Ding 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 ding. The gang chi was raging, and large trenches were cut out of the floor by the gang chi. Smoke and dust were everywhere. Auguries' figure was in a very embarrassed state. He was unable to fight back under Jasmine's attack, and his arms looked like they were about to be broken. He was holding the divine power. Trident's hands were even covered in blood. Auguries is going crazy. He has released the final form of the mighty trident. His combat power has at least tripled. Why can this woman in front of him still be able to beat him without any ability to fight back? That is why he is not convinced. Boom! The Tangdeo containing the terrifying gang chi was slashed down, with a powerful and heavy blow with the force of splitting Huashan Mountain. Auguries roared and raised the mighty trident. The terrifying gang chi was raging, and the transparent knife gang split instantly. The whole floor was shaken by the violent explosion. After the smoke and dust dispersed, Auguries half knelt on the ground holding the mighty trident in both hands. One of his legs had sunk into the floor. On the wall behind him, a half-meter wide trench penetrated the wall. This was caused by the sword. The traces of cutting. Ding! The mighty trident let out a soft cry and broke in the middle. The shining trident lost its light instantly, and then, a blood stain appeared from the top of Auguries' head. Half kneeling on the ground, Auguries looked at Jasmine with dull eyes opposite him, who was standing with her sword behind her, her breath gone. She opened her mouth and vomited out a large amount of blood, and said unwillingly, "I still came out, time is too short. Damn waste, I cannot be reconciled." Awakened one, don't be complacent. If Auguries, the gatekeeper, dies, someone stronger will appear. You will die sooner or later. After saying this, Auguries tilted his head and died completely. Looking at the dead Auguries, Jasmine's head was full of question marks. Awakened one? Her. What is this fool talking about? I can't understand. Is this person mentally retarded? Or was his brain damaged by her severe beatings? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Doomsday. Chapter 286. Chapter 286. Li Jing's mentality collapsed. Sister, why are you so fierce? Not only was Jasmine confused, but Li Jing, who was being escorted by two female soldiers, was also confused. Damn it! What's the situation? Auguries was killed? Obviously you appear so cool, the earth is shattering, and there are flashes of lightning, and the weapons look like AD 100 top-notch equipment, and then you get chopped off? Gan. Are you here to be funny? I'm still waiting for you to rescue me. Fuck. Li Jing was dumbfounded. Ryauguries has always been invincible in her heart. Mainly because of the first meeting. It was too scary. When they came up, they were skewering candied haws. When they walked in, the lights were flashing. His appearance was like hell. Like the great demon who came out of the cave, this shocked Li Jing greatly. Can it bear fruit? What, a silver wax gun tip? It looks good but is useless, what a mess. The whole city saw Jasmine holding down Auguries and beating him violently, finally getting up and going crazy. But in the end, it was better not to go crazy. If she did, she was immediately killed. It's not that Auguries is too weak, it's that Jasmine is too strong. Li Jing still knows this truth. Look at the trenches on the ground, which are 5 to 6 meters long and half a meter wide. This is the building of nations. The building materials used can be said to be of the best kind. Even if you hire a demolition team, they may not be as powerful. At the very least, they must use blasting methods. But this, are you sure you are holding a knife and not some kind of knife-shaped missile? This destructive power is outrageous, right? The most frightening thing was the last knife, which directly shattered Auguries' mighty trident. The sword energy splashed out directly shattered the wall behind it, and a 7-8 meter long hole was plowed out of the ground. Moat. Through the huge crack, you can even see that the room behind the wall has been cut into a terrifying big crack. Good guy, do you want it to be so fierce? You should have said earlier that humans are so fierce, I will be a new human of hammer. Li Jing wanted to cry. She felt that she might have been deceived. She just wanted to ask, is it okay to turn back to a normal human being now? Is it okay for her to surrender now? She is really a good citizen. After becoming a new human, I didn't kill people randomly, I only killed zombies. Be honest and don't move. We do not treat prisoners favorably. As soon as Li Jing was about to speak, her arm was slapped. Listening to the fierce words of the female warrior, Li Jing felt aggrieved. Not to mention, she didn't want to move. She just wanted to surrender. Killing Auguries was a big deal for Jasmine. It was as if she had done something trivial. To be honest, Jasmine was a little disappointed. Why could she not stop beating her so much? She had just warmed up, so why did she kneel on the other side? She looked so powerful, why couldn't she stop beating her so much? I couldn't figure it out. But Jasmine is still very excited now. After killing an Auguries, she found that the energy in her body increased sharply. Even the attributes, strength, agility, and constitution, all jumped up a bit. This is not a low strength. At that time, she was now in the condensation realm. Her attributes exceeded 40 points. If she wanted to improve her attributes, she would have to kill at least hundreds of zombies. Now that she killed an Auguries, she directly increased several attributes. What is this? Beat a mini-boss? Such a huge improvement made Jasmine's eyes turn green when she looked at Auguries' corpse. She remembered what the guy said before he died, will someone take revenge on him? Will someone stronger appear? This made Jasmine have no more expectations. It's better to have more of this kind of weakling, so that her strength will increase faster. Although she didn't know where Auguries came from, Jasmine still agreed with this attitude of giving someone's head thousands of miles away. Giving someone's head thousands of miles away was a small gesture of courtesy but heavy on affection. Lighter. Turning to look at the captured Li Jing, Jasmine's eyes suddenly lit up. The Auguries just now should be this woman's boss, right? Then does she know where this group's stronghold is? When the time comes, she will report it to Lin Fan, then. Let alone a commander, with such a great contribution, he can at least become a legion commander, right? Even if she can't, she will definitely be rewarded with some conditions, but the level should be higher than Wang Ziwen's, so can. The more she thought about it, the less clear her mind became. Jasmine felt a little dizzy, and there was a weird smile on her face. Seeing Jasmine's expression, Li Jing was dumbfounded. Wasn't it fine just now? How come such a cold woman seems to have eaten something like I love a piece of firewood now? Could it be an adverse consequence of the battle just now? However, the female warriors were used to it. They looked at each other and nodded one after another. Then Han Yunzhen walked up and coughed twice. Captain, it's still daytime, please be normal. Recovering from a shock, Jasmine took a look at the female warriors. She didn't feel embarrassed at all. She took out a photo from her pocket, took a sip, and then put it back in her pocket with satisfaction. She just bought this yesterday. Limited collector's edition, Lin Fan wearing only big pants, worth 2,000 judgment coins. Han Yun rolled his eyes, this captain really let himself go. Jasmine didn't want this either, but who let Zhou Ziyan, a big beggar, accidentally target her? The incident of posting photos of Lin Fan in the photo went out, and then almost all the female warriors knew about it. Although everyone almost did this, at least they didn't tell anyone about it, and then she became famous. Faced with this situation, Jasmine the pot was broken. In retaliation, she robbed all of Zhou Ziyan's treasures and extorted thousands of ruling coins. Now she is a little rich woman. After putting the photos, Jasmine returned to her previous cold self. With a serious look, she walked up to Li Jing step by step, looked her up and down without saying anything, and Li Jing was immediately frightened. Sister, if you have something to say, I will definitely know everything, don't look at her like that, hold me. I'm scared. Be honest, where is your headquarters? How many people? And what is your purpose? Where is the woman you have hidden? Jasmine's face was calm, but the cold light in her eyes made Li Jing understand that if she didn't tell the truth honestly, she would end up like auguries. I say anything, Li Jing has figured it out a long time ago. This must be explained honestly. Auguries has been smashed to pieces. If she doesn't say anything, she will die. I don't know where the headquarters is or how many people there are. Jasmine slowly put her hand on the handle of the knife. This woman is not very honest. No, I really don't know, Li Jinghun was almost frightened. He quickly told everything that had happened before. The focus was on how auguries turned them into new humans. He said it in extremely detail. Sister, you believe me, you must believe me. I'm a student at Fudanji Ongguan campus. It's true, there are no zombies there now. Sister, you can find me as long as you check the files. Looking at the excited Li Jing, Jasmine felt a little disappointed. She thought she had caught someone alive, but in the end she didn't know anything about it. It all came to nothing like the headquarters. What about the survivors here at the Tower of Nations? Didn't you say that all the men were killed and the women stayed? Where is it hidden? Be honest. It's a residential area 2 kilometers to the north. I don't know exactly how many people there are. It's probably around 50 or 60,000, maybe more, maybe less. That's all I know. Li Jing told everything she knew in one breath. She looked at Jasmine, who was meditating in front of her, and said expectantly, Sister, can you let me go? I don't want to be a new human being. I am a die-hard loyal to human beings. Glancing sideways at Li Jing, Jasmine did not refuse. Originally, the City of Judgment did not kill women. Even if this woman does not become a female warrior, she can still be a maid. Even if she becomes a new human, she has not done anything bad. There is no reason to kill, I just don't know if this woman can turn back into a human. There should be no problem in keeping you alive. Now take us to find those women. You'd better not play any tricks. No matter how many zombies come, we won't be afraid. You'd better be smart. Li Jing nodded quickly and promised, I will definitely not cause trouble. I am serious about surrendering. Walk. Taking Li Jing away from the Tower of Nations, it was very quiet along the way, and the zombies around did not move. This made Jasmine very satisfied. Then she seemed to have discovered something, and looked at Li Jing with a thoughtful expression. Li Jing, this new human seems to be of great help. If these zombies stand still, they will definitely be killed faster. After walking 2 kilometers, Li Jing pointed to the community in front of her and said, this is it. All those women are here. I don't know how many people are here, but Du Yuhang and the others have asked zombies to deliver food in the past 2 days. Looking up at the community in front of her, Jasmine winked at Han Yunzhen and the others, go up and have a look. Han Yunzhen rushed in with 20 female team members, and soon ran back through countless zombies with unspeakable surprise on his face. Captain, Captain. Sure, they are all women. The entire residential area is full of women. The number is unclear, but there must be tens of thousands. Rao had been mentally prepared. After hearing Han Yunzhen's words, Jasmine's heart beat violently twice. She seemed to have seen that the reward was not far away from her. I will notify the Lord immediately, please clean up the zombies around you, this time. Our military strength is about to explode. I would like to congratulate all squad leaders and squadron leaders in advance. With a charming smile on her face, Jasmine's words made Han Yunzhen and others couldn't help but get excited. Yes. Captain, let's clear out the zombies around us right away. What is the name of the captain? He is the commander. Can you speak? Yes, Commander. Lord Commander. Let's go clean up the zombies first. Watching the female warriors swarm into the zombies, Jasmine smiled, lowered her head to look at the watch on her wrist, and began to contact Lin Fan. In the eastern region, Lin Fan's butt had been replaced by a giant steel wolf. The giant dragon in the west, with a body length of more than 100 meters and a wingspan of hundreds of meters, covered the sky and the sun wherever it passed. The terrifying dragon's breath swept past the main road, and the zombies were evaporated one after another, and the points and experience were also followed along the way. A rising tide lifts all boats. Ding. Demonic Dragon Diamat kills zombies, points add 1, Fantasy Manifesting Ability Experience add 1, current experience is 31, 2057/100W. Ding. The ability to manifest the fantasy has reached LV7, and the experience points required for upgrading have reached 1 million, but Lin Fan doesn't care. The ability to manifest the fantasy is so cool that he doesn't need to do it himself. When you materialize a tool, your points will skyrocket. The level 7 fantasy manifestation ability can now manifest into living creatures instead of the previous mechanical life. This demon industry dragon Diamat was modeled by Lin Fan after the image in the Demon High School. It is very easy to use, and as the creator, Lin Fan is the true god to Diamat, the demon industry dragon. Only, once the power of fantasy is used up, Diamat, the demon dragon, will still disappear. She is not a real life. Now Lin Fan has felt the difference between fantasy manifested powers and created powers. For example, the previous electromagnetic gun and steel giant wolf will disappear after the fantasy power is consumed. Creating powers is different. That is true. Once created, even if there is no energy, it will not disappear. There is still a big difference between embodiment and creation. Just when Lin Fan was sighing, a notification sound came from the system to attract his attention. Ding, kill the goalkeeper auguries and get add 2000 points. Ah, this? What is this? Why is it so valuable? Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Doomsday. Chapter 287. Chapter 287 The shock brought by the demonic dragon Diamad, Dragon Knight. The most point rewards Lin Fan has ever seen are only 20 or 30 points from zombie bears and the like. This award of 2,000 points is really unprecedented. Lin Fan is now more curious about what this gatekeeper auguries is. Opening the system prompts, Lin Fan filtered through it and saw a series of high points prompts. Ding, kill the new human Su Ran, add 100 points. Ding. Ding, kill the new human Du Yuhang and add 110 points. A series of over 100 points prompts, and then the 2,000 points of the goalkeeper auguries. Lin Fan was stunned. Who is this new human being? Who is this goalkeeper auguries? Didn't he just fight? Are you taking a nap? Why do so many new things suddenly appear? Lin Fan even wondered if he had traveled through time. What is this? Just when Lin Fan was wondering, his watch suddenly rang. He lowered his head and glanced. It was a call from Jasmine. Lin Fan chose to answer the call. What happened? Lord, we need you to come over here. I have found some survivors here, which are quite large and troublesome. Moreover, I have encountered some situations and I need you to come over and take a look. Hang up the call and found the location of Jasmine. Lin Fan patted Diamad, the demon industry dragon under him, and sent the location. Go here. After receiving Lin Fan's instructions, the demonic dragon Diamad looked up to the sky and hissed. His huge body instantly rose into the sky. The dragon wings covered the sky and the sun, setting off boundless wind, and disappeared into the clouds in the blink of an eye. Lying on the dragon's back, Lin Fan felt that the abnormal amount of points just now should be related to what Jasmine said. Of course, he might have guessed wrong. There must be something inside about this new human and the gatekeeper auguries. There is such a thing as a new human being. This is something Lin Fan never expected. The demon industry dragon Diamad is very fast, and the distance of dozens of kilometers only takes a minute or two, and the loud roar of the dragon shakes the surrounding area. After tens of kilometers, the sky and the earth suddenly darkened. On the ground, the energy and blood were a little disturbed by the harsh dragon roar. Jasmine looked up to the sky and saw the black dragon swooping down from the sky. Her eyes widened and she couldn't say anything in her heart. Shocked. Not only Jasmine, but also Li Jing, Han Yunzhen, and others next to her were frightened. They stared blankly at the terrifying black dragon swooping down from the sky. For a time, they thought they were hallucinating. Aren't you kidding me? In mythology the magic dragon has appeared. Is this really the end of the world? I can't move even if I want to. The terrifying dragon power covers dozens of kilometers in radius. This is a real terror. Under the cover of this terrifying dragon power, everyone felt that they had lost control of their bodies, and it became extremely difficult to even move a little finger. Open, are you kidding me? Black dragon. Han Yunzhen's voice was dry and hoarse, and his tone was indescribably difficult. In the northern area, looking at the female warriors who were frightened by Long Wei, Zhao Wanqing frowned and looked in the direction of the building of nations. She clearly saw the sky rising from the sky. The terrifying black dragon swooped down. After feeling Lin Fan's aura, Zhao Wanqing shook her head and ignored it. Anyway, Lin Fan was on that dragon, so there would definitely be no problem. The dragon's power disappeared in a flash. Soon the women on the ground returned to normal. On the contrary, the zombies were still in the shock of the dragon's power, like puppets that had lost control. In the Bund World Tower, the terrifying astral wind was raging, and the huge black dragon fell from the sky. Dark the dragon scales, terrifying dragon claws and huge body bring endless shock. Let me tell you in advance, Diamat is the protagonist. Don't copy the original work and say that the demon industry dragon Diamat is a blue dragon. Why, you write it as a black dragon. The ferocious dragon's head hung down, and its vertical pupils swept across. Jasmine and others were frightened, their scalps exploded, and boundless chills rose on their backs. Lin Fan jumped down from the dragon's head, and walked to Jasmine and others in a few steps. His soul, the supernatural power, spread and quickly calmed down the shocked minds of the girls. After her mind stabilized, she glanced at the black dragon lying behind Lin Fan. Jasmine swallowed hard. Good guy, even the black dragon was out. Yes, the Lord is indeed awesome. See Lord. Lifting up his hand to help Jasmine and others who were half kneeling on the ground, Lin Fan asked, "What's going on? Didn't you say you had something special to report?" "Yes, Lord." Pulling Li Jing beside her, who was still a little confused, Jasmine explained her situation. After listening to it, Lin Fan understood what those points were about. New humanity? Ogoreth the gatekeeper? Lin Fan said it twice, looked at Li Jing, and asked, "Are you sure what you said is true and there is no deception?" As he spoke, Li Jing was enveloped in his mind-reading skills. "What a terrifying black dragon, is this the master of these women? My mother, this is so handsome, a dragon knight. What about Ogorestes' shoes? You don't even deserve it." "Ah, Ogories, I really want to chop you with a knife. You've tricked me to death. I want to be a human being, I want to be a human being. I really don't know this. Where did Ogories come from? If this man doesn't believe what I say, aren't I done with it? What a rip-off. My lord, I really don't know. I was just an ordinary female student a few days ago. Everything I say is true. You must believe me." Li Jing's face was full of bitterness. She felt very uncomfortable now. She didn't know how to prove that what she said was true. After hearing the truest thoughts in Li Jing's heart, Lin Fan no longer doubted anything. He had the ability to sense the wood element. "After checking Li Jing's physical condition, I found that her body has been optimized. Like zombies, her body can replenish physical energy through photosynthesis, and her strength has also improved." "Is this the so-called killing of zombies to increase her strength?" As Li Jing said, Lin Fan has no interest in her weapons. The conversion rate is not half as high as that of Tang Dao. This is nothing to study. I believe what you said, but in order to prevent you from doing something bad, I need to put an insurance on you. Do you understand what I mean? Li Jing's strength is not taken lightly by Lin Fan, but this ability to control zombies is still very scary. If this guy turns evil, it will be a disaster for the City of Judgment. Hearing Lin Fan, if so, Li Jing breathed a long sigh of relief. Just trust her. As for the insurance method, she had no objection. Anyway, people were under the eaves and had to keep their heads down. "Sir, it's all according to your wishes." Seeing Li Jing being so aggressive, Lin Fan had nothing to say. His soul power was activated, tampering with her consciousness and making her unconditionally loyal. Seeing Li Jing's faith value frozen at 100 points, Lin Fan turned his head and happened to see her. We arrived at the women who had been driven out of the residential area. There were an unknown number of women. They walked along the road with a look of fear and terror on their faces. Looking at these women, Lin Fan's thoughts spread like God. Looking down at an area of dozens of kilometers in radius, as far as the eye can see, after passing the Pearl Tower, there are no zombies in the two directions to the northeast, and there are also no traces of humans. The women gathered here in the 10,000 Nations building survived. This should be the last harvest in this area. Fortunately, the new humans did not infect all these women into zombies. Otherwise, even if the zombies in the demon city are cleared, the harvest will be much less. His eyes generally swept over the women. Circle, which is not much different from what Jasmine said, with 50 or 60,000, which is already nearly half of the population of Judgment City. After withdrawing his thoughts, Lin Fan had a smile on his face. This time, the harvest was great, and Jasmine deserves a lot of credit. Without Jasmine, you and your team members did a great job this time. You killed the gatekeeper auguries, eliminated a group of so-called new humans, and saved so many women. I will give you two choices. The first is to be promoted to the third level. Level, leader position, class sequence LV6, and there are also some rewards such as judgment coins and source power crystals. The second option is to be promoted to a 2-level official, take the position of captain, rank level 5, and receive some rewards of judgment coins and source power crystals. In addition, you can also make a request. Please consider these two options carefully. Lin Fan has never been stingy with rewards for meritorious women. After talking about Jasmine's reward, he turned to look at Han Yunzhen and others. Looking at the expectant eyes of Han Yunzhen and others, Lin Fan smiled slightly. Han Yunzhen performed well and was promoted to 2 officials. Level, takes the position of squadron leader, class sequence LV5, rewards 10,000 judgment coins, and a source of power crystal. The remaining team members are promoted to 1 level, takes the position of squad leader, class sequence LV3, and rewards a bottle of source of power crystal. You can go to the military merits office to receive the corresponding badges and rewards after you return. Later, your achievements will be notified to the entire Judgment City. This is the honor you deserve. After hearing Lin Fan's words, Jasmine and others were filled with unspeakable surprise. They half knelt on the ground and said respectfully, "Thank you, Lord, for the reward." "Okay, get up." With a wave of his hand, Lin Fan helped Jasmine and the others up. "Jasmine, have you decided what to choose?" What's this?" Looking at the piece of paper slowly falling from Jasmine's side, Lin Fan raised his hand to grab it and took it directly into his hand. Jasmine, whose face was originally full of joy, was stunned when she saw the photo in Lin Fan's hand. His eyes were dull, and the dizziness visible to the naked eye rose directly from his neck to the top of his head. Turning the paper over, Lin Fan lowered his head and looked over. The expression on his face froze. In his hand was a photo, and there was a man wearing big underpants. Lin Fan has a very good look, so isn't it him above, but what's going on with this mouth mark? He looked up at Jasmine and saw that her face was dizzy, so Lin Fan handed the photo over to her. Jasmine couldn't pick it up for a moment, or not pick it up, but finally she pulled it over and stuffed it into her clothes, right in this position. Lin Fan wanted to say, "If there is anything coming at him, let go of that photo." "My lord, I choose the second option. I heard that your swimming skills are very good, but I don't know how to swim. I want to learn from you, so, that's all anyway." Lin Fan saw it. Jasmine was planning to go all out. The worst that could happen was that the pot would break. Anyway, she would definitely not suffer any loss. Han Yunzhen and the others next to her rolled their eyes after hearing this. "You can't swim? Want to learn? I see. It's a lie that you want to learn how to swim, but it's true that you have evil intentions. I know how to swim, why don't you learn from me?" Lin Fan was a little surprised by Jasmine's request. This woman is so brave. "Okay, wait until we get back, I'll teach you when I'm free tonight." Agreeing to Jasmine's request, Lin Fan looked at the women who were kicked out at the gate of the community. He raised his hand and a huge space door appeared. Lin Fan had nothing to say. He pointed at the space door and said, "I'll give you two choices. Get in or die." No one wants to die, and no one will doubt the authenticity of what Lin Fan said. Look at the zombies around and the women with knives, and look at the terrifying black dragon lying next to him. As long as Fan is in his right mind, everyone knows how to choose. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Gugu Da. Chapter 288. Chapter 288, Riding on a dragon and traveling across the sky with his beauty, Diamat became jealous. 56,000 women became jealous. Even though Lin Fan had opened the space channel very wide, it took more than half an hour for all these women to wear it. After passing the space passage, Lin Fan opened 2 more space passages, otherwise half an hour would not be enough. Watching the last woman disappear, Lin Fan casually closed the space channel, turned around and was about to leave, but the words coming from behind made Lin Fan stop. "That, please forgive me, Lord, can I change my previous request now?" Lin Fan turned around and looked at Jasmine with a frown. Seeing her direct gaze, Lin Fan subconsciously followed her gaze, and then saw Diamat, the demon dragon lying not far behind. "Is it possible, Jasmine wants to ride a dragon? Just tell me, I will only give you this one chance to change, you have to think about it carefully." Lin Fan still has some tolerance. "It's not a troublesome thing anyway." Jasmine nodded vigorously, looked at the demon dragon Diamat behind Lin Fan, and asked, "My lord, I can come with you. No, can you take me to ride the dragon? I want to try what it feels like to fly in the sky on the back of a dragon." Jasmine's eyes were full of expectation, and her face was dizzy. She didn't know whether it was because of excitement, the bad taste just now, or other reasons. Listening to Jasmine's request, Han Yunzhen and others were stunned, and they felt very confused. What the hell is such a good swimming opportunity, you don't know how to seize it? What's so good about that broken dragon? Han Yun is so angry. He can't wait to go up and kick Jasmine. "You captain is crazy. I don't know what a good opportunity it is. Be sure of it." Han Yun really looked at Jasmine with hatred, and then she was stunned. There was something wrong with her expression. After thinking about Jasmine's words carefully, Han Yun really realized it. Sure enough, the captain is the captain. That's true. Lin Fan didn't know that. Xiao Zhizhu was here. Seeing that Jasmine was looking forward to riding a dragon and flying in the sky with him, he didn't refuse. He waved to her and said, "In that case, come over. It's just the right time, it's getting late. After taking you around for a while, it's almost time to return." After receiving Lin Fan's call, Jasmine was pleasantly surprised and quickly ran to Lin Fan's side. She looked at Lin Fan expectantly, feeling a little overwhelmed with excitement. "Lord me, my one, you can, I mean." Taking Jasmine's white and tender little hand, Lin Fan asked, "Is this what you want to say?" "Uh-huh." Pulling Jasmine, Lin Fan picked her up horizontally and jumped directly onto the back of Diamat, the demon industry dragon. Jasmine has made such a great contribution, so a princess hug is not too much. "Dia, take off, hold head high, roar." The loud roar of the dragon shook the void, the broad dragon wings flapped hard, and the strong wind raged. The huge dragon body, which was more than 100 meters long, suddenly flew into the sky, straight into the sky, and soon only one was left. Little black dot. Seeing Jasmine being carried away by Princess Lin Fan, Han Yunzhen and others couldn't help but be envious. If he could hug them like that, he would probably wake up laughing from his dreams at night. Forget it, no matter what the dream was, he would probably be so excited that he couldn't sleep. Seeing the black dots in the sky disappear completely, Han Yunzhen came back to his senses, glanced at the surrounding team members, and said sadly, "Don't be stunned, there are still a lot of zombies around. After cleaning up the zombies on the Huangpu River, it's time to go back. We can completely clear out all the zombies tomorrow. Come on, my team captains." The female warriors came to their senses one after another. When they heard Han Yunzhen's words, their faces were full of joy. They have worked hard for so long. They were finally promoted to team captain. "Li Jing, right? Let's kill zombies with everyone. The Lord has given you weapons. From today on, you are a member of Judgment City and can be regarded as our good sister. Let's kill zombies together. You let the zombies go away. If you move around, let's kill them together." Han Yunzhen patted Li Jing, who was still in a dazed state next to him, and said grandly. After coming back to her senses, Li Jing looked at the Tang Dao and watched that Lin Fan had thrown to her before, thinking of Lin Fan's words, and said in her heart, I couldn't help but be excited. Is this knife the source of the great strength of these female warriors? Thank you, Sister Zhen, I will work hard. As long as I'm here, these zombies can't move around and just give us points. Li Jing is very sweet and has a quick mind. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been so cooperative before. What Lin Fan tampered with was her loyalty, rather than directly brainwashing her into a puppet. Apart from her loyalty, Li Jing has not changed at all. Good sister, I'll protect you, let's go, let's kill the zombies. Good. Li Jing held the Tang Dao and rushed straight into the pile of zombies. The Tang Dao slashed down on the neck mercilessly. The corpses were separated with one knife. Li Jing felt the power pouring into her body from the Tang Dao. Li Jing almost cried. This is so special. Well, if she had had this knife a long time ago, let alone Du Yuhang, she could have chased and killed Du Yuhang and the rest of them together. What kind of new human weapon is this hammer? She could kill several zombies before she could catch up. This Tang Dao kills one person. She finally knows why Han Yunzhen and the others are so powerful. Go to hell with the new humans, go to hell with your sister auguries, get lost. Get away as fast as you want. Thousands of meters high in the sky, Lin Fan is sitting on Diamat's back. He looked down at Jasmine in his arms, his face speechless. Sister, what's your expression? Can you be normal? Looking at the abnormal dizziness on Jasmine's face, Lin Fan was stunned. I wonder if I encountered, it's just weird. What about riding a dragon and flying across the sky as promised? You should get up and feel the feeling of flying in the sky, and feel what it feels like to ride a dragon. It's hard for me to do this. Lord, are we flying too high? I'm a little hypoxic and have trouble breathing. Jasmine opened her eyes slightly and whispered in her sleep. Lin Fan was stunned for a moment and felt a little ashamed. It turned out that it was not abnormal, but a lack of oxygen. Lin Fan didn't think much and patted Diamat. Diamat, fly low. Lord, don't, this height is very good. Any lower and you won't have the feeling of soaring into the sky. You, if it's convenient for you, just give me some oxygen. Lin Fan was amused. You beat around the bush for a long time, just because of this, right? Lack of oxygen, right? Okay. No problem. Lifting Jasmine's chin, Lin Fan lowered his head to deliver oxygen. Jasmine was like a baby waiting to be fed. Bird, catch it quickly. Don't move, the consequences will be serious. Yudao is a woman who cannot be persuaded by good words. Jasmine sat in Lin Fan's arms and hooked her fingers. Lin Fan's hand stopped and his expression was a little stiff. Didn't you wear a safety vault? Jasmine's face was a little pale, but she had a satisfied smile on her face. She raised her finger, and a sharp sword energy was running on her fingertips. Seeing this, Lin Fan understood everything. You are really a genius. And Lin Yu, who chose this combat uniform, is really a genius. Convenient. So convenient. Except for the anti-human safety vault, it is no longer a problem now. You like riding a dragon and flying in the sky, right? I'll take you flying with me. Dia, fly higher. Do some stunts. Diamat snorted dissatisfied, feeling unhappy all the time. Don't you treat dragons as dragons? Are you feeding dog food in front of me? That damn woman dared to attack her god. It's simply unforgivable. Smelling the clear smell of blood, Diamat was always angry, as if he was wearing a hat with a green light on his head. It was aggrieved. I fly. I fly. Angry Diamat, he soared straight into the sky, then folded his wings and fell towards the ground at high speed. Hearing the screams on his back, Diamat was very happy, but the more he heard it, the more he heard something wrong, and then it was even more uncomfortable. Damn it! After flying in the sky for more than an hour, Diamat flew dejectedly towards the city of judgment. The dragon's life was all gloomy, and he felt like crying without love. On the dragon's back, screams Jasmine, who had been sleeping for more than an hour, leaned a little weakly in Lin Fan's arms. Diamat showed off her skills really well, and her voice became hoarse. Holding a handkerchief in her hand, Jasmine raised her head and gave it to Lin Fan, looking at it as if she wanted to prove. Lin Fan laughed and touched her head. I saw it. Did you plan it in advance? Putting the handkerchief back with satisfaction, Jasmine leaned on Lin Fan's shoulder and whispered, My lord, are you happy? Is this your first time riding a dragon? Well, I'm very happy. Thank you for your hard work. Putting her arms around Jasmine's slender waist, which has been tempered for a long time and is slender and extremely elastic, Lin Fan felt very good holding it. With the two of them traveling together, Jasmine became a lot more courageous. She raised her head and looked at Lin Fan's corner. After a kiss, although the fatigue in his eyes could not be concealed, the excitement and contentment on his face completely concealed it. As long as the master is happy, it's fine, and the subordinates don't have to work hard. It will be much better after they get used to it. It feels really good to fly in the sky, but it's a pity that I only have this chance, but I will try my best to fight for it again. Placing a kiss on her smooth forehead, Lin Fan said softly, Don't you know how to swim? I can teach you when I have time. I can. Jasmine didn't understand it at first, and she held it back after saying two words, I will learn it hard, but I'm quite stupid. Maybe I need to teach you a few more times. Good. Diamat's heart turned sour after hearing this. She can't swim either. Can you teach her? This human ant is so overachieving. I really want to turn her into grey with a breath of dragon's breath. It's already getting dark. Yamat flew over the city of judgment, and the city of judgment below was emitting dazzling white light. White light balls on the city wall floated out of thin air, and the light illuminated an area of 1 or 2 kilometers. And as Diamat flying into the airspace, white rays of light intertwined into a network. After feeling the aura belonging to Lin Fan on the demonic industry dragon Diamat, they quietly dispersed. What was that just now? What a scary smell! Feeling the fear emanating from Diamat, Lin Fan patted her back and comforted her that Skynet, used to eliminate air units in the sky that want to destroy the city of judgment. It's on you, it's my breath, it's okay. Got it, thank you my lord. Diamat's dragon head turned around and looked at Lin Fan gratefully, with admiration in his eyes. But when he looked at Jasmine, he was not so friendly. He stared at Jasmine with cold vertical pupils. If he didn't know regarding her relationship with Lin Fan, she really wanted to spread her ashes. Diamat felt that she might be the worst dragon king. Being glared at by Diamat, Jasmine felt a chill in her heart, remembering that she had been with the dragon king before. Taking into account the things on her back and the current situation of Diamat, a ridiculous idea came to Jasmine's mind. Could this dragon also have thoughts about the Lord? Thinking of this, Jasmine felt that she was so dangerous. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Doomsday. Chapter 289. Chapter 289. Do you like the Lord? Take shape first. What are the consequences of being targeted by a dragon king? Jasmine didn't know it before, but now she knows it. Being stared at by Diamat's cold gaze, Jasmine felt extremely panicked. Although she didn't know where this dragon came from, it must have something to do with Lin Fan. Thinking about the situation of the women in the city of judgment, and then thinking about what she had just done, she was really confused. Diamat landed on the lawn of Villa number 1 in the Tianxia Villa district. His huge body landed, and Lin Fan walked down holding Jasmine, who was unable to move. In the living room of the villa, Lin Yuyu and others were all there, but they looked very busy. They were all writing something with their heads down. When Xiao Mingxiu and the other maids saw Lin Fan coming back, they quickly ran up to change Lin Fan's shoes. Wearing a maid's outfit, Xiao Mingxiu knelt in front of Lin Fan and changed her shoes, smelling the familiar scent coming from Jasmine. Looking at the difficulty in moving, let alone the envy in her heart, she didn't know when she would only then can I properly rely on Lin Fan once and get a complete set. Want to take a rest upstairs? After changing his slippers, Lin Fan looked down at Jasmine, who was a little weak in his arms, and asked softly. Jasmine didn't refuse. She was indeed very tired now and was deeply hurt. She had fun playing, and now it's time to pay off her debt. She planned to help her. He led Jasmine upstairs, but Zhou Ziyan and Yerulan walked over to take over Lin Fan. Both women looked envious, especially Yerulan, who came first. As a result, Jasmine took the lead when she was near the water. Not to mention how uncomfortable she felt. But everyone came from the dark fragrance bar, so let's get there first. He handed Jasmine to Zhou Ziyan and Yerulan with confidence. Lin Fan stretched his muscles and walked towards the sofa. Xiao Mingxiu and the other maids quickly followed. Lying comfortably on the sofa, Xiao Mingxiu sat down first and held Lin Fan in his arms. The other maids knelt beside him, squeezing and holding the fruit plate. Lin Fan was already used to this. The previous 3 days were basically like this every day. If a person wants to be diligent, it takes years and months of persistence to form a habit, but it only takes a day, or even half a day, to become lazy. Smell the refreshing fragrance, and eat the cantaloupe that Xiao Mingxiu brought to the table. Lin Fan looked at Lin Yuyu and others who were writing something together not far away, and asked Mingxiu, "What are Yuyu and the others doing over there?" Looking at Lin Yuyu and the others, Xiao Mingxiu whispered softly, "My lord, Mistress Yuyu and the others seem to be processing documents sent by the Internal Affairs Department and the Intelligence Department. I heard that there are also some planning plans and so on. It seems that they are to expand these into other industries. I don't know the specific details." Lin Fan has no interest in these, so he stopped asking and enjoyed life comfortably. In a luxurious guest room on the second floor of the villa, 2 girls, Yerulan and Zhou Ziyan, had their hands on their hips, with deep envy and expressions on their faces. With a look of jealousy, opposite the two of them, Jasmine huddled on the sofa like a child who made a mistake. "You were so quick to start. I just received the notice this afternoon, and when I came back in the evening, you were gone. It was so annoying." Yerulan put her hands on her hips, not to mention how depressed she was. "Why can't it be her? She has been waiting for a long time. The little maids at home are progressing faster than her. In the past few days, they had water every day, and she was dying." Zhou Ziyan looked Jasmine up and down, her eyes were extremely weird. "I'm more curious, how come you don't have it? Your clothes are a bit wrinkled. Could it be that you just found a villa? Are you just pretending? No. You need to let me check it out." As soon as Zhou Ziyan said she would do it, she immediately pounced on her. Jasmine was extremely miserable. How could she be Zhou Ziyan's opponent now? Not to mention Yerulan, who was helping the evildoers. She was quickly stripped clean. She held it in her hand. Looking at the safety vault and looking at the blood stains on it, Zhou Ziyan and Yerulan were both stunned. Then looking at the various marks on Jasmine's body, who was filled with anger, they both knew it was the truth. "I was just comparing prices and curious, which one of you made the move first? Who made this hole?" Zhou Ziyan came closer to Jasmine and looked at her curiously, her eyes full of gossip. Angrily she took the safe holster and put it on. Jasmine snorted lightly, raised her head and said proudly, "I did it." Seeing Jasmine like this, Joseon and Yerulan felt very sad, and said sourly, "Why are you so pretentious? Sooner or later we will have this day." "That's it?" After putting on the safe, Jasmine said angrily, "What day is that day?" Giggle. Kakaka. Joseon and Yerulan pinched their fingers, and the crisp sound of beans popping came. The two women looked bad. Seeing this situation, Jasmine also knew that this was a hornet's nest, and she quickly apologized and said with a smile, "Sisters, I'm just kidding, give me a chance, give me a chance." "Superior. Get rid of her. Give you a chance. Die to my aunt." There was a moment of trembling. There is no doubt that Jasmine, who had not much strength at all, was dealt with badly. Her already scarred body had more scars. After resting for a long time, she finally breathed a sigh of relief, and Jasmine climbed up with difficulty. "I got up, put on my coat and came to the window, but this way, it attracted more attention than if I didn't put it on." "Hey, what are you doing? You shouldn't be thinking about jumping off a building, right? Let me tell you, this is the second floor. Even if your head is broken by our strength, it will definitely not be your head. I suggest you try it on the 100th floor." Turning around and glaring at Joseon, Jasmine said angrily, "How come I didn't realize that you are such a vicious woman before? You just jumped off the building, I don't care about you." "Turn around and walk to the rooftop." Jasmine looked around and shouted into the distance, "Diamat, Diamat. What are you howling for? What about calling the soul?" Yerulan raised his head and looked towards the rooftop angrily, and was stunned for a moment. Looking at the ferocious dragon head that suddenly appeared on the edge of the rooftop, everyone in Yerulan was stunned, especially the cold vertical pupils, which made Yerulan even more stunned. It was like falling into an ice cellar. Not only Yerulan, but also Joseon were so frightened that they couldn't speak for a while. On the edge of the rooftop, looking at Diamat, who suddenly appeared, Jasmine had seen him before, and she also looked at him. "It has been more than an hour, and now I feel like my heart is getting hairy." I stared at Jasmine with cold eyes, especially the scars all over her body under the clothes she was wearing. This poured a lot of boiling oil on Diamat's angry nerves. It almost burned her sanity. What did this woman mean? Is this ant protesting against her? Diama was so angry that she almost lost her mind. "Human ant, are you angering Diamat, the demon dragon? Your behavior is provoking me as the Dragon King." Jasmine woke up with a start. Under the gaze of those cold vertical pupils, she suppressed the chill in her heart and waved her hands. "Great demonic dragon Diamat, I don't mean to anger you, I just have something I want to do, ask you, or give you some small suggestions. Of course this is good for you." Diamat stared at Jasmine in front of him, a little suspicious in his heart. Could this woman be frightened by her, and then fool her? Hot breath came out of his nostrils, and Diamat whispered, "Woman, you are the most. Are you lying to me? Tell me what you want to say." I felt relieved. When Jasmine came back, she was thinking about how to settle the relationship with Diamat. There was no other way. After being on his back for so long, I obviously felt that the dragon was jealous. What should I do? If we don't solve it properly, if one day this female dragon doesn't have a clear idea, just give it to her, and she will be gone. In the eyes of humans, her condensation realm is like a large ant, and her scales are as fast as human scales. He was older than her, with that cold light and texture like gold and iron. She doubted whether she could leave traces on the scales. Being targeted by such a terrifying dragon king, or a jealous female dragon king, who knows what the consequences would be. So it's best to take care of her side. "The great demon dragon Diamat, I want to ask you, do you like the Lord? I mean the procreation kind of thing, or more clearly, the things that are on your back today, do you think?" The dragon's claws moved impatiently on the grass twice. Diamat stared at Jasmine, nodded his dragon's head twice, and asked, I just don't know my lord's attitude, so, I don't dare to think about it at all. Is there anything you can do? Okay. It's done. After confirming Diamat's idea, Jasmine didn't panic anymore. She must have accomplished this. Diamat, you are the Dragon King, right? I read some novels or cartoons where dragons can transform into human forms. That's me. If you want to succeed, you have to become like me. Do you understand? You can't let your lord accommodate you, right? Moreover, the master's aesthetics is human. Looking at your current appearance, perhaps in the eyes of a dragon, your body shape must be extremely beautiful, but in the eyes of the master, he will not have the slightest idea. Do you understand? Pointing at Diamat's body shape, Jasmine said seductively. Diamat looked at Jasmine, then lowered his head at the dragon's claws and body, and nodded with understanding. I understand, but I have never transformed before. It may take some effort. Please wait for me. Jasmine didn't speak, and looked at Diamat quietly. Whether she can transform is very important, and she must be beautiful. She has a good figure. This is the most important thing. Thinking of this, Jasmine quickly reminded Diamat, you must be careful, you must be beautiful and in good shape, do you understand what I mean? Jasmine is afraid. If you don't warn her, and Diamat turns out to be uglier, then she will be doomed. I understand, I'm working hard, I still understand a little bit about your human aesthetics. Diamat spoke in an angry voice, as if he was holding back some big move. In the room, watching Jasmine chatting with Long outside, Yerulan and Josiah looked at each other, holding back their fear, and stood up and walked over next to Jasmine. Jasmine, what are you talking about? Is this the Lord's dragon? This is too big. This afternoon, the roar of the dragon shook the heavens and the earth. They also heard it, but they didn't see the specific image, but they also heard many female warriors talking about it. Now that they saw it with their own eyes, they were still shocked beyond measure. Just they were squatting like this without showing off their power, and the terrifying pressure made them unable to breathe. It was unimaginable how terrifying it would be if they really showed off their power. With such a large body, the destructive power must be terrifying. Jasmine turned around and looking at the shocked Josiah and Yerulan. They responded, yes, her name is Diamat, the demonic dragon Diamat. I heard she is a dragon king. Dragon king. The two women were shocked again. Just when the two women were about to say something, rays of light flashed in front of their eyes, and the huge and ferocious dragon body began to shrink rapidly. Seeing this situation, Jasmine was heartbroken. Lift it up. Is this going to transform? Doomsday, I am the only one in the world who has superpowers. Author, Doomsday. Chapter 290. Chapter 290, Diamat transforms, and Ti's mother comes online. Is she about to transform? Looking in shock at the shrinking dragon body in front of them, the light is not dazzling. Josiah and others can feel the powerful magic power concentrating, fluctuating, and converging. As the dragon body finally disappears, the faint magic power under the light, a perfect figure that made the three women lose their minds, slowly walked out. The long silver hair was scattered, the facial features on Guazi's face were delicate and moving, the long eyelashes blinked, and the eyes like wild gems were looking forward. Belonging to the nobility and arrogance of the Dragon King, the huge dragon horns on both sides of the head curve straight to the waist, the perfect figure is curvy, and the black and white tights outline the figure even more hotly and eye-catching. Perfect. So perfect. The three Jasmines looked at the silver-haired woman walking up from mid-air step by step. They were all stunned, with a look of amazement in their eyes. They could hardly describe the woman in front of them with words. What happened to you three? Is my posture strange? Or is this look ugly and not in line with the Lord's aesthetics? In my opinion, this is what humans would like. Diomat frowned and looked at Jasmine and the others. Their expressions made her feel unsure. After coming back to her senses, Jasmine quickly shook her head. No, 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 it's not that it's not in line with the Lord's aesthetics, it's that it's too much beautiful. Your image simply shows the beauty of women to its peak, with perfect body proportions and exquisite facial features. Even we, as women, find it incredible. Yes, it's so perfect. In my impression, only Mukingseo, the otherworldly fairy, can compare with you. We both seem to be missing something. Josiah nodded with deep sympathy. Yerulan looked amazed, but when she saw the dragon horns on both sides of Diomat's head and the dragon tail behind him, her expression was a little hesitant. Will the dragon's horns be too big, and the dragon's tail, too? Wouldn't the Lord like to be in the way? Also, it must be uncomfortable when sleeping, right? Hearing what Yerulan said, Diomat was stunned for a moment, raised his hand and touched the dragon horn on his head. Would the Lord not like it? Then I will. Don't take it back, that's it, that's fine. Jasmine quickly raised her hand to stop her. Looking at Diomat's confused eyes, she explained, Sister Di, don't listen to her. Listen to me. I'm telling you, dragon horns are cute, and you have dragon horns. It seems to be very suitable for exerting force. The Lord will definitely like it. Just take it back when you sleep. Really, Diomat was a little hesitant now. She couldn't figure out who to listen to. She patted her chest, and the two big pigs jumped wildly. Jasmine promised Sister Di, believe me, I will definitely. I won't cheat you. Don't listen to her, she knows shit about men. If she understood, she wouldn't be behind me. Believe me, I'm definitely right. Men like monster girls, beast-eared girls, and the like. Yerulan was stunned for a while, but she didn't know how to refute. There was really no way to refute the fact that she was left behind. After thinking for a long time with a frown, Diomat still chose to believe Jasmine and looked at she. Diomat wondered, then what should I do now? Just stay like this? What should I do when the Lord wants to ride me? Isn't that just right? Isn't this what you were waiting for? Pushing Yerulan away, Jasmine rolled her eyes. What are you talking about the hammer? What Sister Di said is that when the Lord is about to go out, don't make fun of him, God is just riding like this. Yerulan reacted and shrugged helplessly. She didn't react for a moment. Do you blame her? Everyone was obviously racing. Who knew you would suddenly slow down? When the Lord wants to go out, just change back. This is very simple, and, Sister Di, please come over and let me tell you something useful. Jasmine quietly hooked her fingers, and Diomat subconsciously put his ear to it. Let me tell you, Sister Di, what men like is to go to the hall. No, I'm wrong. You act like a slut at home and like a lady when you go out. These two forms are the same as you are now. At home, you are in human form, and when you go out, you are in dragon form. Do you understand what I mean? Diomat nodded thoughtfully, and after being prompted by Jasmine, she felt she had understood. Should I go out and stay now? Or sleep with you guys? Human beings seem to have to sleep at night, and I also have to sleep, so as to save energy. I can feel the energy passing through my body, and in human form, the passing speed is much slower. Looking down at the palm of his hand, Diomat could feel that the energy consumption was reduced a lot after turning into a human form. Probably because the dragon form was too big, and the power required to maintain it was also much greater. Jasmine didn't understand Diomat. Matt, what do you mean? But it doesn't matter. It's too early to go to bed now. Please wait for me. I'll change clothes and then go to the living room with you. The Lord will definitely like it when he sees you like this. After resting for a while, Jasmine has gotten much better. After all, her physique is there. It is difficult to recover directly, but it is not difficult to recover to being able to walk. Diamat nodded and watched quietly. Jasmine was busy getting dressed, and it wasn't until she finished dressing that she asked, "Why are you helping me? I feel weird." Jasmine's face fell as she walked over. She looked at Diamat faintly, and sighed. "I've been tossing your back for so long today. If your mentality is unbalanced, you want to seek revenge from me. My little arms are so thin, I will be dead if you slap me. Can I not help you?" Suddenly, he looked at Jasmine, held his chin and said seriously, "I did think about it before. One day when the energy is exhausted and disappears, I will crush you to death, but I have given up this idea now. I can see that you have been very careful, and I don't blame you." Jasmine. A chill ran down her back, and Jasmine almost shut down her computer. It turned out that she had really thought about it like this. Yerulan and Josiah next to them also understood, and together with Jasmine, they explained for the first time that they were on the dragon's back. "This is so fun. It's just that the risk factor is too high. Being cared about by a dragon king is always in danger of life. Abel, can you please stop being so scary? I'm still a child." Jasmine felt so blue and wanted to cry. It was so scary. Thanks to her wit, otherwise she would have disappeared. Diamat smiled slightly, and his perfect and delicate face made Yerulan and the three girls look at her blankly. "Don't worry, I was just kidding. Jasmine doesn't want to think about whether it's a joke now. This topic has been brought up. It's too scary. It's better to take Diamat away. Sister Di, come with me." Holding Diamat's hand, Jasmine walked all the way downstairs, followed closely by Yerulan and Josiah. In the living room, Linfan closed his eyes and fell asleep, eating Xiao Mingxiu's food from time to time and bringing it to his side. Fruit, thinking about what to do next. It is expected that the demon city has not been cleared out today, but it will be cleared out tomorrow at the latest. By then, the entire demon city will be liberated, covering thousands of square kilometers. With less than 200,000 people, the land is vast and sparsely populated, so we must find a way to increase the population. In addition, it is also worth thinking about what we should do after liberating the Magic City, whether to go to Sioux City, Jinling, etc. Should the big cities continue to expand their territory, or should they travel across the ocean and go abroad? Linfan thought about the question of staying in the country or going abroad, and felt a little confused for a while. Clatter, clatter. A burst of footsteps came from the stairs. Linfan didn't pay attention, but Li Yun's confused voice attracted Linfan's attention. "Jasmine, who is this you are pulling? The new survivors brought back today? What's going on with the horns and tail?" "Huh? What about horns and tails? Are there any people with horns and tails in Judgment City? It seems that except for Muyuking, the cat-eared girl, there are no other people with tails, let alone horns." Subconsciously, he raised his head and looked at the figure that came into view on the other side of the stairs. Made Linfan feel a little dazed. "Timo, WTF? Isn't this Fgo's mother-in-law? Where did this come from? Why did the god of creation from the Mesopotamian mythical world come here?" Linfan was instantly confused. This is at the level of the god of creation. If we really go by the destructive power of the myth, he may not be able to beat him. Hearing Linfan's voice, Diamat's face was slightly stunned. "Dee's mother? Did the creator see her as his mother? This is not what she wants." Diamat was a little impatient. Her mother's generation would never do it, and how could she be the mother of the creator? Wouldn't that be treasonous? Walking quickly towards Linfan, Diamat half knelt in front of Linfan and said in fear, "My lord, please don't call Diamat that. As the noble creator, your status is supreme. Diamat is responsible for. I'm sorry to call you this, please take it back, otherwise Diamat will have no face to face you." After returning to his senses and looking at Diamat kneeling in front of him, Lin Fan tilted his head. What, Diamat? Diamat, the demonic dragon? It turns out you can transform. It's just that your whole image of Ti-Ma is indeed. No wonder he felt the aura of absolute control from Diamat. It turned out that he recognized the wrong person and thought that the Mesopotamian god of creation had escaped. Raising his hand to pull Diamat up, Lin Fan couldn't help but feel a little lost as he looked at her frightened face. The people in the anime have come out, and they are indeed too beautiful. Don't worry, I just looked at your face and thought of someone, it has nothing to do with you. Hearing what Lin Fan said, Diamat felt relieved. He looked down at the hand held by Lin Fan. Diamat suddenly felt that the human form was really convenient. Before, Lin Fan wouldn't have it at all. Being so close to her is indeed the right thing to do. Sit down. Pulling Diamat to sit on the sofa, Lin Fan looked at her doubtfully and asked, "Why did you suddenly transform? Didn't I remember that you were incarnate?" As a creator, Lin Fan knows where Diamat is based from. Diamat, the demon dragon from Demon High School, is the only female of the 5 dragon kings. But this guy has never transformed before. Why did he suddenly transform today? Diamat didn't think so much. When Lin Fan asked, she told him honestly. Jasmine asked me if I wanted to get closer to you. There is no doubt that I admire you as the creator and am willing to do anything for you. Then Jasmine suggested that I transform, because this is the only way I can get close to you. Lin Fan was dumbfounded, Jasmine was also dumbfounded, and Lin Yu and others who had just come over out of curiosity were dumbfounded after hearing this.